Welcome game lovers, bug hunters and Godot tinkerers. Over the past few months I jumped headfirst into the wild world of game development. And by jumped I mean cannonballed in. So far I participated in 5 different game jams, which are basically speedruns to create a full game in a short amount of time. All while sticking to a theme that often sounds simple but ends up melting your brain in the best way possible. Thanks to some seriously heartwarming feedback and a steep learning curve, I was officially hooked. I was ready to start developing my very first actual game. Well, to be honest, I had an idea in my brain for a while now, but the real kick-in came from the Game Dev Jam. The theme? Balance. When I saw the theme, I felt like it's now or never. The idea I had fit the theme perfectly, so I jumped into the jam, submitted a rough version of the game and got a very nice feedback so far. Long story short, I'm now officially working to turn this idea into a full game. But to understand it, we need to make a bit of a time travel back to 1997. Way back then, my birth year, a quirky little puzzle game was released for the PlayStation and PC made by a German studio called Software 2000. In the US the game was called Marble Masters, but I knew it as Swing. The goal was beautifully chaotic. You drop balls onto seesaws, matching 3 or more of the same color to score points. Sounds simple, right? Wrong. Each ball had a different weight, and if the seesaw tipped too far, the heavier side would catapult the lighter ball across the screen. If that was not enough madness, there were also bonus balls with special effects. I basically grew up with this game and absolutely adored it. It was simple, it was addictive, and it had a charm that you just do not find anymore, like hearing your favorite song on the radio the second you turn it on. Unfortunately, after a small Android remake in 2015, Swing basically vanished into the digital void. Finding a high-resolution and playable version today is probably harder than teaching a cat how to code. Therefore, I decided to bring the unique mechanisms back and recreate the spirit of Swing. Of course, by adding my own flair and some mechanics and ideas. And that is how I started Stick the Brick. Before I even had a name for it, there was a lot to be done. I started by hammering out the core mechanics in Godot 4. First step, spawning balls at the top of the screen, ready to be grabbed and dropped onto different spots. Next up, the seesaw mechanic, where stacking balls not only changes the tower's height but also counts the total weight. Then I added a matching system for balls of the same color, and that is when the chaos started. Turns out my first approach was about as stable as a Jenga tower in an earthquake. I had based everything on area to D nodes, and performance quickly dropped. I needed another idea of setting everything up. I basically burned it all down and started fresh with a grid system. And surprise, it actually worked way better. Since the seesaw and matching systems were already sketched out, getting them onto the new setup was easier than expected. Animation of the balls was different though. Getting those balls to move and drop smoothly from one seesaw to another took a lot of tinkering, head scratching and existential crisis. But after some code polishing, I found a solution that, at least for now, is working quite well. I then added a fusion mechanic. Stack 5 balls of the same color and poof, they fuse into one, carrying the combined weight of all 5. Why does that matter? Well, this whole game is all about numbers, eventually. Your score depends on the number of the balls you match and their total weight. So the heavier and bigger the combos, the more you flex on the leaderboard. While working on the mechanics, the visuals started building themselves in my head. Instead of balls, I designed construction blocks, the bricks, with cute little faces and numbers showing their weight. For the seesaws, I built weird-looking bricks that open and close their mouths based on the weight they are carrying. Then came brick variants. I created silver and gold bricks, a light brick and a mine brick. Silver bricks appear after every 60 placed bricks. Fuse 3 silvers and you get a golden one. Both of them clear the entire field when matching, but plot twist, the silver bricks give you no points. If you want the glory and the score, you have to earn those golden bricks. One thing Swing always nailed was the chaos of balls flying around when a seesaw tipped too far. Naturally, I had to bring that feature back. The brick is repositioned based on the weight difference caused by the dropped brick. If the imbalance is strong enough, it will send a brick flying toward the edge of the screen. But instead of letting bricks fall into the void, I added cute little monster blocks on the left and right side. If a brick exits the playing area, these monsters open their mouths, gobble the brick up and spit it back onto the other side. Recycling at its finest. The twist? This transportation mechanic also ties into two new troublemakers, the light brick and the mine brick. The light brick appears when a standard brick gets catapulted off the field. It has no weight, cannot be matched, and is basically just annoying. If you drop another brick on it, it triggers a cute little feather animation where the light brick gives the feather a tiny push. Eventually, if you fling a light brick off the field, it morphs into a mine brick. Now things get explosive. If a brick is placed on top of the mine, kaboom! The surrounding bricks are blasted away, including the mine itself. Of course, you could play along with this already, but there is another thing, the level system. Every 60 placed bricks, not only do you get a shiny silver block, but you also level up. Starting at level 6, every third level introduces a new color into the mix, until you have a total of 8 colors raining down. Well, if you make it that far, you are a mad brick champion. But be careful. If the bricks stack too high, the game ends. You'll need to think about where to place each brick, as the seesaw mechanic might become your greatest obstacle. Lights indicate whether you can still drop a brick or if adding another will cause you to lose. When leveling up, your bonus is set to the highest value. Bonus? Yes, it'll usually increase when bricks are matched in a certain amount of time. Thus, points you get eventually are calculated not only based on the amount of bricks and their weight, but also the current bonus and the level. In Swing, within these levels, further special balls appeared, and this is what I am now working on, getting more and more special bricks with unique mechanics to keep the game interesting. But what also is important for every game, sounds and music. So far, I have added a handful of sound effects, some for dropping bricks, creaks for the shifting seesaws, just some essentials. Sadly, music did not make it into the version I submitted to the jam. I just was stupid when using Godot and used a wrong audio streamer. But even without the tunes, Stick the Brick is alive. You can try this very early version on my itch.io page. This is the current progress about Stick the Brick. I keep working on this game and I will keep you updated. Let me know in the comments if you ever played Swing and if you got a suggestion or wish for Stick the Brick. Would you like a multiplayer option? A special brick? A special setting? I will consider your suggestions to be part of the game, and if your idea makes it in, you will definitely make it into the credits. Feel free to also subscribe or join my Discord, Watsons, to get some of the behind the scenes and be part of a little game dev community. And if any of you wants to support me and want to see this game eventually published, consider buying me a coffee, whatever works for you. Eventually, many thanks to my dearest Watsons and supporters. You keep me highly motivated. With that, case closed. See you next time.